Welcome back. This is Sonia, and I'm thrilled to be here with you once again as we continue this beautiful love story between Raj and Andrea. Before we dive into today's chapter, I want to remind you to take a moment and listen to part 1 and part 2 if you haven't already. It'll help you follow the journey of their love with all the passion and complexity that it deserves. Trust me, you won't want to miss the moments that set the stage for where we are now. And just so you know, this love story is still evolving. I'm writing it as we go, and I can't wait to share what happens next with you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me grow and allows me to keep bringing these heartfelt stories to you. So, sit back, put your headphones on, and let's dive back in. This love story is filled with all the emotion, intensity, and tenderness that every woman dreams of. You'll feel every passionate word from Raj to Andrea, set to the calm and gentle piano music, just like the rhythm of their love. Now, as we left off last time, Raj watched, his heart rent asunder between duty and desire, as Andrea turned and walked away, her silhouette gradually fading into the night. Now, let's continue where we left off. Enjoy. The following day, Raj found himself unable to banish Andrea from his thoughts. Her words echoed in his mind, a constant reminder of the conflict between his heart's desires and his princely obligations. With a sense of urgency, he arranged a meeting with Indara, determined to rectify the situation that now seemed unbearable. As they sat face to face, an unexpected wave of relief washed over them both. Their conversation, fraught with tension at first, gradually evolved into a mutual understanding that neither had anticipated. The realization that they shared similar predicaments, hearts yearning for others while bound by duty, created an unexpected bond between them. With newfound resolve, they reached a unanimous decision to approach their families about dissolving the engagement. The weight of societal expectations still loomed large, but the prospect of pursuing genuine happiness gave them courage. The day following Raj and Indara's telephone conversation, they resolved to confront their parents and arranged a formal dinner. The atmosphere was fraught with palpable tension. Raj and Indara were acutely aware that their decision to challenge long-standing traditions would inevitably be met with staunch resistance. Despite their newfound mutual understanding, they both felt the oppressive weight of centuries of cultural expectations bearing down upon them. That evening, the two esteemed families convened in the opulent royal dining hall, a grand chamber adorned with exquisite tapestries, resplendent crystal chandeliers, and imposing portraits of their illustrious ancestors, silent witnesses to the momentous conversation about to unfold. King Devendra and Queen Anisha, Raj's parents, were seated regally at the head of the table, while Maharaja Vikram and Maharani Laila, Indara's parents, took their places of honor opposite them. Raj and Indara sat side by side, their countenances carefully composed, belying the tumultuous emotions roiling within their hearts. As the attentive servants presented the first course, a delicate soup infused with aromatic saffron, the atmosphere remained polite yet formal. Superficial discourse about business affairs and political matters permeated the room, but Raj and Indara exchanged meaningful glances, acutely aware that the critical moment was fast approaching. Upon the clearing of the first course, Raj deliberately cleared his throat, instantly commanding the attention of all present. A hushed silence descended upon the room as he placed his hands deliberately on the table, his gaze unwavering as he regarded first his parents, then Indara's. "Mother, father," Raj began, his voice resonating with a mixture of firmness and deep-seated respect, "there is a matter of utmost importance that Indara and I must discuss with you, and with her esteemed parents as well." Queen Anisha's eyes narrowed imperceptibly, her maternal instincts acutely attuned to the gravity in her son's tone. "What troubles you, Raj? Your words carry a weight of significance." Raj inhaled deeply, his gaze momentarily flickering towards Indara, seeking silent reassurance. She responded with an almost imperceptible nod, infusing him with the fortitude to proceed. "It pertains to our betrothal," he articulated, keenly observing as his mother's countenance transitioned from inquisitiveness to trepidation. "Betrothal?" King Devindra echoed, his voice resonating with an undercurrent of admonition. "What of it?" Raj hesitated briefly before continuing, his words carefully measured. We have come to the realization that our engagement, though arranged with the most benevolent of intentions, does not align with our true desires." Queen Anisha's visage blanched, her hand instinctively grasping the edge of the table for support. "What precisely are you implying, Raj? This union was ordained since your infancy. It embodies the collective will of both our illustrious families, the perpetuation of a venerable legacy." Indara interjected, her voice unwavering yet imbued with profound emotion. "With all due deference, Your Majesty, we comprehend the immense significance of this engagement. However, both Raj and I have discovered that our hearts yearn for others. It would be a grave injustice to ourselves and to those we cherish to proceed with this marriage." Maharaja Vikram, renowned for his steadfast adherence to tradition, furrowed his brow in deep consternation. "This is utterly unacceptable, Indara. We have honored this covenant for years. To rescind it now would bring ignominy upon our esteemed families. Who are these individuals of whom you speak?" Indara lowered her gaze, acutely feeling the weight of her father's disapprobation. "Father, I harbor affections for someone not of royal lineage. He is a man of integrity and honor, but he does not hail from our social echelon." Maharani Layla emitted a soft gasp, her hand instinctively covering her mouth in shock. "Indara, do you fully comprehend the implications of your words? You would relinquish a life of privilege and duty for a man incapable of providing you with the life to which you are entitled." Indara's voice quavered, yet she remained resolute. "I am acutely aware of what I am foregoing, Mother. However, I also recognize that a union bereft of love, mutual respect, and understanding would constitute a far greater loss." King Devindra's piercing gaze shifted to Raj, his countenance hardening into an impenetrable mask of regal authority. "And you, Raj? Who is this woman who has so thoroughly beguiled you, leading your heart astray from your sacred duty?" Raj met his father's penetrating stare with unwavering resolve. "She exists beyond the confines of our world, Father. She is a foreigner, a woman I encountered recently. Yet, in the fleeting moments we've shared, I've come to the profound realization that she is the one with whom I wish to spend the entirety of my existence." The ensuing silence hung heavily in the air, pregnant with shock and disbelief. Queen Anisha was the first to regain her composure, her voice quavering with a potent mixture of indignation and trepidation. "Raj, surely you cannot be in earnest. Would you so callously discard everything, your duty, your birthright, your destined future, for a woman who is utterly ignorant of our ways, our hallowed traditions?" Raj's jaw tightened imperceptibly, yet his response remained measured and calm. "I comprehend fully the gravity of my request, Mother. However, I firmly believe that true felicity cannot be attained through the fulfillment of obligations that run counter to the dictates of one's heart." Maharaja Vikram rose abruptly, his visage flushed with unbridled fury. "This is sheer lunacy. Do you have even the faintest inkling of the magnitude of your demand? You're asking us to cast aside centuries of venerated tradition, to bring ignominy upon our noble houses. Would you so willingly subject us to humiliation in the eyes of our people?" Raj remained seated, his posture a study in composed determination. I do not seek to bring disgrace, Your Majesty. I implore you for understanding. The inexorable march of time has wrought changes, and we must evolve in tandem. Indara and I have deliberated long and arduously on this matter. Our decision is not born of capricious whim but of deep, thoughtful consideration. Maharani Layla, her eyes brimming with unshed tears, shook her head in profound dismay. But Indara, you have been meticulously groomed to fulfill this role, to ascend as Raj's queen. How can you so cavalierly cast aside such a destiny? Indara, her heart aching at her mother's distress, reached out to gently clasp her hand. I am not discarding it frivolously, mother. Rather, I am electing to pursue a divergent path, one that I fervently believe will lead to a more joyous and fulfilling existence. The man I have chosen, I love deeply, and it is with him that I wish to share my life, just as Raj yearns to be with the woman who has captured his heart. Queen Anisha turned to Raj, her eyes filled with desperate entreaty. Raj, I implore you to reconsider the gravity of your actions. You are our sole heir, the future sovereign of this realm. Your marriage transcends personal desires, it is intrinsically linked to the stability of our kingdom and the perpetuation of our noble lineage. Raj felt a sharp pang in his heart at his mother's impassioned words, yet his resolve remained unshaken. I have ruminated long and deeply on this matter, mother. I am acutely aware of what hangs in the balance. However, I am equally certain that I cannot effectively rule a kingdom while living a falsehood. I cannot embody the monarch you envision if I am not true to my own essence. King Devindra's fist thundered against the table, causing the fine china to rattle ominously. You speak of truth. But what of honor? What of your sacrosanct duty to your family, to your subjects? Raj's voice softened, yet lost none of its unwavering determination. Honor and duty are indeed paramount, father. But they should not exact the price of love and personal fulfillment. My aspiration is to lead with unimpeachable integrity, and that necessitates being forthright about my identity and my deepest desires. The atmosphere in the room was charged with palpable tension. Raj and Indara's parents exchanged meaningful glances, their expressions a complex tapestry of anger, bewilderment, and profound sorrow. This turn of events stood in stark contrast to the carefully laid plans and long-held visions they had nurtured for their children. King Devindra's stern gaze softened slightly as he observed his son's unwavering resolve. The silence in the room was thick with tension, the weight of centuries-old traditions pressing down on all of them. Queen Anisha looked at Raj, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. She had always known that her son was different, that his heart was too large for the confines of royal duty, yet the reality of this moment was still difficult to bear. Raj, you must understand, Queen Anisha began, her voice tinged with both sorrow and affection. This isn't just about you and Indara. It's about our legacy, our lineage. The people look to us as symbols of stability, of continuity. They see in this union a promise of the future. Raj met his mother's gaze, his heart aching for the pain he was causing her. Mother, I know what this marriage represents for our family and our people. But how can I lead them, how can I truly serve them, if my heart is not in this union? A marriage built on duty alone is a fragile foundation. The people deserve leaders who are true to themselves, who know love and can show them what it means to live fully. Indara, who had been quietly observing the exchange, finally spoke. Her voice was steady, but there was a sadness in her eyes. Your Majesties, I have always respected the traditions of our family. But Raj is right. We cannot uphold the values of our kingdom by sacrificing our own happiness. If we proceed with this marriage, we will be living a lie, and that lie will eventually destroy us and the trust our people place in us." King Devendra sighed deeply, the weight of their words settling into his bones. He turned to his wife, his partner of many years, seeking her counsel through a silent exchange. Queen Anisha, understanding the gravity of the situation, placed a hand on her husband's arm and nodded almost imperceptibly. "We will consider what you've said," King Devendra finally responded, his voice heavy with the burden of leadership. "But know this, Raj, the path you are choosing will not be easy. There will be resistance from the council, from the elders. Even if our reign is only among us the royals, we have obligations to them, even to the people." "I understand, Father," Raj replied, his voice strong. "But I am ready to face whatever challenges come my way. I am ready to fight for my right to choose love, just as you have always fought for what you believed was best for our kingdom." Queen Anisha's eyes softened as she regarded her son. "We will support you, Raj. But remember, the journey you are embarking on is fraught with difficulties. We will need to navigate this carefully, for the sake of the kingdom, and for the sake of our family." Indara looked at Raj with a newfound respect. "Thank you, Raj, for standing up for both of us. I'm grateful to have you as my friend, even if we cannot be partners in marriage." Raj smiled warmly at Indara, relieved that they had reached a mutual understanding. "And I'm grateful for your honesty, Indara. We will always be friends, no matter what the future holds." As the conversation drew to a close, the weight of the decision ahead hung over them like a dark cloud, but within that cloud was a glimmer of hope, a hope that love, in the end, would find a way to triumph over duty. The days that followed Raj and Indara's courageous revelation were fraught with an uneasy tension that permeated both households. Though the public remained blissfully unaware of the turmoil brewing within the palace walls, whispers of the impending crisis circulated among the trusted inner circle. The weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on everyone involved, casting a shadow over what should have been a time of celebration. At Raj's home, the usually composed Queen Anisha found herself unraveling. She retreated to her chambers, seeking solace in prayer and contemplation, yet finding little relief from the anguish that plagued her. The confrontation had shaken her deeply, and she struggled to reconcile her love for her son with the disappointment that his choices had brought. Her once vibrant spirit now seemed diminished, and she spent hours alone, her thoughts a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. King Devendra, however, channeled his turmoil into anger. He was a man of pride, both as a ruler and as a father, and the notion that his son might reject the union he had meticulously arranged was an affront to everything he held dear. He convened private meetings with his most trusted advisors, desperate to find a solution that would protect the family's honor while also addressing the potential fallout of a broken engagement. Each discussion left him more agitated, as the answers he sought remained elusive. One somber afternoon, Queen Anisha summoned Raj to her chambers. The room, usually bathed in warm sunlight, was dimly lit, the heavy curtains drawn to shield her from the harsh reality outside. She sat by the window, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, her eyes red and swollen from hours of weeping. The once graceful queen now seemed fragile, burdened by a sorrow that had etched itself into her every feature. "Raj," she began, her voice trembling with the weight of her sorrow, "I have tried to understand your decision. I've prayed for clarity, for wisdom to see things as you do, but the pain it has caused me is unbearable." Raj, moved by his mother's anguish, knelt before her, his heart aching with guilt. He took her hands in his, feeling the coldness of her skin, a stark contrast to the warmth of her love that he had always known. "Mother," he said softly, his voice filled with regret, "the last thing I ever wanted was to hurt you. But I can't deny what I feel. what I know to be true in my heart. This isn't just about love, it's about being true to who I am and the man I want to become." Anisha's tears welled up once more, blurring her vision as she looked at the son she had raised to be strong, to be a leader. "I've always admired your strength, Raj," she whispered, her voice breaking. "But I never imagined that it would lead you to challenge the very traditions that have defined our family for centuries. How can I bear this?" Raj squeezed her hands gently, trying to convey the depth of his conviction. "Mother, I respect our traditions more than you can imagine. They have shaped us, given us a sense of identity and purpose. But if those traditions become chains that imprison us, preventing us from living authentically, then what good are they? I believe in our heritage, in the values you and Father have instilled in me. But I also believe that love should be the guiding force in our lives. Without it, what are we truly honoring?" Anisha gazed at her son, seeing not just the boy she had nurtured but the man he was becoming, a man who was willing to risk everything for the sake of his heart. Her grip tightened on his hands, as if trying to hold on to the child she feared she was losing to the relentless march of time and change. The room was silent, save for the quiet sound of her sobs, as the mother and son remained locked in an embrace of love, loss, and an uncertain future. At that moment, Anisha realized that the choice before her was not just about preserving tradition, but about preserving the bond she shared with her son. It was a choice between holding on to the past or embracing the future that Raj was so determined to create, a future that, despite her fears, might just lead them all to a new understanding of love and family. Anisha turned away, her tears flowing freely as she spoke. "Your father will never forgive you if this engagement is broken, Raj. He sees it as a betrayal of everything we've built, everything we've worked for." Her voice trembled with the weight of her sorrow, each word cutting through the silence like a dagger. Raj felt his heart constrict at his mother's words, the pain of her disappointment echoing in his own chest. Yet, despite the anguish, he remained steadfast. "I know how much this hurts Father, and I understand his pride. But I can't sacrifice my happiness, or anyone else's, for the sake of appearances. I have to follow my own path, even if it means facing his anger and disapproval." As the tension in the palace reaches its peak, Raj finds himself standing at the edge of a decision that could change the course of his life and Andrea's forever. Whispers fill the halls, and every glance from his parents feels heavy with unspoken words. What will happen when duty collides with the heart's deepest desire? Next week, the answers begin to unravel, but not without unexpected twists that could shake everything Raj has been fighting for. Will love be enough to bridge the gap between tradition and freedom? I'll be waiting for you all here, ready to take this journey with you. To be continued.